The morning air at Lincoln Ridge High felt cold even though spring had already arrived. Students moved through the front entrance laughing and talking while lockers slammed along the hallway walls. For most teenagers, it was another normal school day. For 18-year-old Daniel Carter, it was another day of trying not to be noticed. Daniel walked quietly with his backpack resting on one shoulder. He was one of the few black students in a school located in a wealthy suburban neighborhood outside Chicago. He had learned early that blending into the background made life easier. He focused on grades, avoided drama, and kept his circle small. Daniel loved engineering. While other students talked about parties and sports, he spent afternoons building small machines in his garage. His dream was simple. He wanted to earn a scholarship and become an engineer one day. That week, Lincoln Ridge High announced a statewide robotics competition. The winning student would receive a full college scholarship sponsored by a major technology company. Excitement spread across campus instantly. Posters appeared everywhere encouraging students to participate. Daniel felt hope rise inside him. This competition was exactly what he had been preparing for his entire life. He signed up quietly. Many students were surprised when they saw his name on the participant list. Some whispered that the competition was usually dominated by students from advanced engineering families. Others joked that Daniel probably joined by mistake. Daniel ignored the comments and focused on building his project. Every afternoon he worked late in the school lab designing a robot capable of sorting damaged electronic parts for recycling. His idea came from watching his mother work long hours at an electronics repair shop. Weeks passed and the competition day finally arrived. Parents, teachers, and judges gathered inside the gymnasium where tables displayed student inventions. Bright lights reflected off polished floors while cameras recorded presentations. Daniel set up his robot carefully. It was simple in appearance but precise in function. Across the room, another student named Tyler Bennett attracted attention. Tyler came from a wealthy family known for donating to the school. His project looked expensive and advanced, with polished metal parts and professional branding. Students gathered around Tyler while Daniel worked quietly alone. When judging began, Daniel explained how his robot used sensors to identify damaged components and separate recyclable materials automatically. One judge seemed impressed and asked detailed questions. Daniel answered confidently. Later that afternoon, rumors began spreading among students. Someone claimed Daniel must have copied his design from the internet. Another student said projects like that were too advanced for someone working alone. The whispers grew louder as they traveled across the gym. Daniel noticed people looking at him differently. By evening, the finalists were announced. Daniel Nabe appeared at the top of the list. The gym fell into surprised silence before conversations exploded. Some students clapped politely, but others looked confused or annoyed. Tyler stood nearby, staring at the screen with disbelief. That night, social media posts appeared questioning Daniel's work. Anonymous comments accused him of cheating. Screenshots circulated claiming his robot design matched an online prototype. Danny opened his phone and felt his stomach drop as messages filled the screen. Some classmates defended him, but many believed the accusations without evidence. The next morning, the school administration called Daniel into the office. The principal explained that concerns had been raised about originality and fairness. Until an investigation finished, Daniel was temporarily removed from the competition finals. Daniel felt shock spread through his chest. He tried explaining his design process and showed sketches from months earlier, but the decision had already been made. Walking through the hallway afterward felt unbearable. Students whispered openly now. Some laughed as he passed. Others avoided eye contact completely. At home, Daniel sat silently at the kitchen table while his mother listened carefully. She believed him immediately, but worry filled her eyes. She knew how quickly reputations could be damaged once doubt entered public opinion. Days passed with no update from the school. Meanwhile, Tyler continued preparing for the final presentation as if nothing had happened. One evening, Daniel received a message from Maya Chun, a quiet student who worked part-time in the computer lab. She asked if they could talk privately. They met after school near the library. Maya explained that she had been reviewing competition files while helping teachers organize presentations. She noticed something strange. Tyler had access to Daniel's project folder using a shared lab computer weeks earlier. Daniel felt confusion turn into realization. Maya continued explaining that system logs recorded file access times automatically. She believed Tyler may have copied parts of Daniel's design and later accused him first to avoid suspicion. Daniel hesitated. Accusing another student without proof felt dangerous. Maya nodded and said she already saved the system logs. The next morning, Daniel Muller requested an emergency meeting with school officials. Inside the conference room, teachers, judges, and administrators gathered. Tyler sat confidently beside his parents. Maya connected a laptop to the screen and displayed the computer access records. The timestamps clearly showed Tyler opening Daniel files late at night when the lab was empty. Gasps filled the room. Tyler attempted to explain, but his story quickly fell apart when additional evidence showed edits matching Daniel's original design notes. The truth became impossible to deny. The principal apologized to Daniel and reinstated him into the competition immediately. Tyler was disqualified for academic misconduct. Word spread across school faster than any rumor before. Students who once doubted Daniel now looked embarrassed. Competition day returned. Daniel stood on stage presenting his robot to judges and audience members. This time, applause followed his demonstration. His project worked flawlessly, separating damaged components with precision. When the winner was announced, Daniel's name echoed through the gym. The crowd stood and clapped loudly. Some students who once laughed now cheered the loudest. Daniel accepted the scholarship certificate with steady hands. He looked out at the audience and realized something important. Success was not only about winning. It was about surviving moments when people doubted you before knowing the truth. After the ceremony, Tyler approached quietly and apologized. Daniel listened calmly. He accepted the apology but understood that trust once broken takes time to rebuild. Weeks later, the story faded from headlines, but its impact remained. Teachers introduced new rules protecting student projects. Students became more careful before spreading accusations. One afternoon, Daniel returned to the engineering lab. Sunlight entered through tall windows while machines hummed softly. Maya waved from across the room and smiled. Daniel realized that one person choosing honesty had changed everything. He turned on his robot one more time, watching it move smoothly across the table. For the first time, he felt fully confident in his place at the school. Not invisible anymore. Not doubted anymore. Just recognized for who he truly was. And as graduation approached, Daniel understood that sometimes the hardest battles happen before success becomes visible. The truth may arrive slowly, but when it does, it speaks louder than every rumor that came before. Graduation season arrived faster than Daniel expected. The halls of Lincoln Ridge High slowly changed as banners appeared celebrating seniors preparing to leave for college. Students talked about future plans and shared memories of moments that once felt important but now seemed small compared to what waited ahead. For Daniel, the scholarship announcement had changed everything. Teachers who barely noticed him before now greeted him warmly in the hallways. Younger students sometimes stopped him to ask about robotics or engineering projects. The attention felt strange but also encouraging. For the first time, he felt seen for his work rather than judged by assumptions. Despite the positive changes, Daniel remained focused on improving his invention. Every afternoon, he returned to the engineering lab, refining his robot design. He wanted it to do more than win a competition. He wanted it to solve real problems. He began improving the sensor accuracy and adding a system that could learn from repeated sorting patterns. One afternoon, Mr. Harris, the engineering teacher, watched quietly as Daniel worked. He told Daniel that true engineers never stop improving even after success. He encouraged him to present the updated design at a regional technology showcase held at a nearby university. The event would include professional engineers and company representatives searching for young talent. Daniel hesitated at first. Standing in front of professionals felt far more intimidating than presenting to classmates. Still, he remembered how fear almost stopped him from entering the school competition. This time, he refused to step back. Preparation became intense. Daniel stayed late, testing every movement of the machine. Maya helped him organize presentation slides and practiced questions judges might ask. Their teamwork grew into a strong friendship built on trust and shared determination. Meanwhile, something unexpected happened at school. Students began discussing the earlier incident openly during class discussions about fairness and responsibility. Teachers used the situation as an example of how quickly assumptions could spread without evidence. Many students admitted they had believed rumors too quickly. One day, a freshman approached Daniel after class and said that watching what happened taught him not to judge people based on what others say. The comment stayed with Daniel long after the conversation ended. He realized that his experience had influenced more people than he ever imagined. The regional showcase day finally arrived. The university campus felt enormous compared to his high school. Booths filled a large exhibition hall where advanced projects displayed complex technology and professional designs. Daniel set up his robot carefully. Around him, college students demonstrated drones, medical devices, and artificial intelligence systems. For a moment, doubt returned. He wondered if he truly belonged there. Then the first demonstration began. His robot moved smoothly, scanning electronic parts and separating materials with improved speed and precision. Engineers gathered around, asking detailed technical questions. Daniel explained his design, clearly describing how the system could reduce electronic waste and improve recycling efficiency. One engineer seemed especially interested. She explained that her company worked on sustainable technology solutions and believed the new concept had real-world potential. She encouraged him to continue developing the idea during college. Hearing that from a professional felt unreal. Months earlier, he had been defending himself against accusations. Now experts discussed his invention seriously. At the end of the event, Daniel received a special recognition award for innovation in sustainability. The applause felt different from school applause. It came from people who evaluated ideas purely on merit. On the ride home, Daniel looked out the car window thinking about how quickly life had changed. The painful moments earlier in the year no longer defined him. Instead, they became part of a larger journey that strengthened his confidence. Back at school, graduation day finally arrived. Families filled the stadium seats while students waited nervously in caps and gowns. Music played as names were called one by one. When Daniel's name echoed through the speakers, cheers rose loudly from the crowd. His mother stood proudly clapping with tears in her eyes. As Daniel walked across the stage, he remembered every moment that led there. The quiet lunches, the accusations, the doubt, the truth, the victory. Each step shaped who he had become. After the ceremony, students gathered outside taking photos and saying goodbye. Tyler approached again, looking more sincere than before. He told Daniel that watching everything unfold forced him to rethink his own choices and attitudes. He admitted jealousy pushed him toward a terrible decision. Daniel listened calmly. He understood that growth sometimes comes after failure. This time, their conversation felt honest. They shook hands before parting ways. Later that evening, Daniel returned to the empty engineering lab one last time. Sunlight faded through the windows as he turned on the robot. The machine moved slowly across the table, completing its task perfectly. He realized the lab had been more than a classroom. It was the place where he proved to himself that persistence mattered more than approval. Before leaving, he placed a small note beside the workstation for future students. The note simply said, "To trust your work and let the truth speak through effort." As summer began, Daniel prepared for college life ahead. New challenges waited, but he no longer feared being underestimated. He understood that doubt from others did not define ability. The experience at Lincoln Ridge High taught him something deeper than engineering skills. It taught him patience, resilience, and the importance of standing firm when misunderstood. On his final day in town, Daniel walked past the school building once more. Students laughed outside just as they always had. Life continued normally, yet he knew he was leaving stronger than when he arrived. He smiled quietly, realizing that sometimes the hardest chapters become the foundation for future success. And as he turned away toward a new beginning, Daniel felt ready for whatever came next, knowing that truth, perseverance, and courage would always guide him forward no matter where life took him.